Hi, I'm going to show you how to activate the license file and how to use the different features in SolarLayout Desktop. Once you open the application, you'll see these four options: set by mounting technology and inverter topology. The inverter topologies are string and central inverter. The mounting types are fixed tilt and single axis tracker. Once you select one of the options, it opens a window with File, Edit, and Help menus. Under Help, go to Detect License Subscription. The program automatically reads a device ID from your laptop or desktop. Copy this device ID and email it to us with your email address. We'll create a license file, and once you load it, the software is activated. On the left-hand side, you'll find all the input files. In the first section, you can import the KMZ file of your LAN boundary, or a CAD boundary, or even a JPG image of the boundary. For a CAD or JPG, it will draw the full layout. For CAD or JPG files, you give a latitude and longitude when the program asks. Next is module specifications. You can enter the module dimensions here, including the watt peak, or you can load a PAN file. Similarly, for the MMS table, you can set portrait or landscape, the number of modules per row, and the rows per table. Then spacing and tilt. For the tilt angle of the MMS, you can either enter it manually by checking this box, or the program applies an optimized angle automatically. Under Site Parameters, you set the perimeter road width. The lightning arrestor is off by default. Check it to add lightning arrestors as needed. Then ICR blocks. Here we've taken 18 megawatt peak, but you can set a lower or higher DC capacity for your ICR block. For the transmission line corridor, the voltage level decides how much corridor to keep, so no MMS table is placed within it. The topography section is where you bring in the contour map of the surveyed site. You can import the contour map or check this box to use satellite data. Since I chose the central inverter, the string monitoring box appears, so you can enter the SMB inputs. You can also check Calculate Cables. We suggest enabling this only once you have the plot layout, because the cable calculation takes some time. Then Energy Yield. You can bring in third-party hourly data, or, by default, it uses PV-GIS or NASA data built into the system, with the underlying formulas. For performance, you have the different loss factors. Enter them manually, or let the program compute them. And for investors, it reports P50, P75, and P90 probability values, which you can adjust to match your financial model. Once you click Generate Layout, it plots the plant in this window, and the full DC plant capacity comes out with the MMS tables in place. You can export these to KMZ or to DXF for use in any CAD software, or to a PDF for a detailed summary report. Energy Yield activates once the layout is calculated. You can click Show Energy Chart to view the energy chart, which shows monthly and yearly generation. There's also a sub-hourly export. Choose 1 minute, 10-minute, or 15-minute intervals, giving energy at that time stamping. This is very useful for BESS, Battery Energy Storage System design. Then obstructions. If you missed any obstruction in the KMZ file, you can add it here in real time, so the MMS tables are removed from those areas. The main control room is essential. Once the layout is plotted with the inverters and ICRs, you can place the MCR at your required location and direction for the grid substation. Pick the shortest path, and it replots the layout accordingly. There are on and off buttons you can toggle for better clarity on the plot layout. Along the top, you'll find Save Project. Expand Plot to enlarge the plot area for better visibility. And Satellite, which places a map behind the plot. Wireframe mode is useful for CAD work. Then piles. This designs the MMS with piles. Once you draw piles for one table, it applies to the whole plant and gives the coordinates, so you can export that file and send it to your construction team to start the pile marking. There's a sketch mode for editing manually. Although everything is plotted automatically, if you want to add or remove tables, add roads, or modify things, you can, like a CAD platform. BOM automatically generates the bill of material, including descriptions. If you want to change it, there's a template you can use, or you can feed your own material specifications, and it plots the BOM result. In the single line diagram, you'll get the complete SLD of the plant, automatic or manual. You can also create a symbol, use it as an object, and place anything on the diagram. So, to begin, let me take a KMZ file. I'm not changing any variables. I'll run it with the default settings. You can see it plotted the layout in about 4 seconds, with both half tables and full tables. All the results are here. This is 57 acres, with a 4-kilometer boundary, useful for fencing design, and it also shows DC capacity, angle, and everything. Now, to place the MCR, just position it as per your requirement. Let me put it here. Once I place the MCR, the nearby tables are removed automatically to handle the shading effect. Now let me check Calculate Cables. It shows a message window so you understand the cable calculation will take some time. Just enable it now, and once you generate the layout, it takes a moment to calculate all the cable trenches and cable runs. You can see the cable calculation finished in about 26 seconds. Switch it on to check. This is the DC cable, from SMB to inverter. These are all the trenches, and the cable quantities appear here. Similarly, you can view the DC strings. These green lines are the DC strings. Then the MV cables. You can see the MV cables from ICR to MCR. That's how you handle the DC side of the plant layout. Now let's go to AC capacity. As per requirement, you generally set AC using the AC-DC ratio. When you click this, it asks for the PAN file. Let me upload the PAN file. It also asks how to calculate number of modules in series. I will select it as auto. Here it's asking for the ONDAY file of the inverters. You'll see an input window. The system voltage is 1,500 volts. Earlier it was 1,000, and in future it may reach 2,000 in some countries. You can change the ambient temperature of the site as needed. Now it suggests 25 to 28 modules in series. Let me pick the maximum for lower capex and apply the inputs. Now I can go to the simulation with AC capacity. As I mentioned, the DC capacity tells us the maximum you can fit on the available land. It's showing 27.84. You can change the pitch and rerun for higher capacity, but let me assume 27.84. So let me go with, say, 6,000 kilowatts of AC. This 1.3 is the inverter ratio, DC capacity to inverter, not to plant capacity. And it's capped at 1.4, considered the best suitable ratio. Once you run the simulation, green means this layout is feasible. Then there's a feature where you can click on the layout to choose where to start. If you have better land on the north or east side, you can simulate from there. So let me select from the north side. You can see this is a lower capacity than before. It plots the DC capacity with the MV cables. You can switch the other cables on or off. This is the DC cable. If you go to Energy Estimation, you click Calculate Energy. All the results come through. You can maximize and view them here. That's how you use these features. As I mentioned with piles, it appears here. You can place the X and Y coordinates and change the radius of the pile. Apply it to the whole plant, and all the pile coordinates are displayed here. In sketch mode, when you click it, all the sketch tools activate, and you can use them to modify the plant. You can also switch off the layout and energy views for a clearer picture. Similarly, click BOM and it generates the bill of material automatically. And there's a template where you can add your own BOM. For the SLD, click Automatic. And the single line diagram shows how many arrays, assemblies, inverters, and transformers. The transformer also changes between 2-winding and 3-winding types. You can also expand it for a clearer SLD. This gives the expanded version. You can rotate it, make it vertical, or edit the text, changing whatever you need. So that's SolarLayout and its features. If you have any suggestions or issues, you can contact SolarLayout. Thank you.